I am Mary Kathryn, and I have learned that abuse and addiction know no boundaries. I grew up in Idaho. My dad had a great job. I went to a great elementary school. I excelled in sports. I excelled in school. Everything was going great until my dad lost his job, and we were forced to move to Illinois. And that's when pretty much everything changed. I was 5'10" in the 6th grade, and so the kids were less than kind. I lived on the wrong side of town. They thought that I was rich, and so I was really tormented in school. I really had a rough time. And when I was a sophomore in high school, that's when I first started cutting. And by the time I was a senior, I was burning myself multiple times a day. I loved the way that it felt at the time. The physical pain took away the emotional nightmare that I was living. I eventually went to college, and it was actually there my freshman year that I drank for the first time just in a friend's apartment, and I loved it. I felt accepted, I felt free, I was happy. So I finished school and got a job and moved, and I had everything that I had wanted, at least I thought. I was doing well at work, but again, I was still empty. I was new in town, I didn't know anyone, and before I know it, I am drinking every night and most mornings. My behavior started to change. I grew angry pretty quick. I had mood swings. And prior to that, I was still masking. I put on a performance really so that everyone would think that I was okay, so that no one would know how depressed I really was. So I called a pastor and talked to a friend, and I was eventually led to the Good Fight Ministries, which is a 12-step recovery program. And it was there that I found hope, that I met people who were struggling as well and who really understood how I was feeling, and things were going great. But something still was not right inside of me. I still felt this emptiness, and I still felt really depressed, and that's when I started remembering being sexually abused as a kid. And at that point I was angry. I was angry that God would reveal something to me at that moment that I could no longer do anything about. I just really felt empty, very depressed, very anxious, and just completely worthless. And in 1 month's time, I had 2 suicide attempts. After the second suicide attempt, with the urging of my sponsor and some friends, I agreed to go to treatment. And it was in treatment that I learned that I was not alone in this struggle. And so I found hope there as well. And once I got out and started getting back involved in group, I really started to feel better. And the more that I share my story now, the more that I'm connected with people. Abuse, addiction, rejection, hope, forgiven, made whole. That's my story.